Hi everybody, it's Kate. So I had every issue trying to get this live out to you today. I'm going to make a video with it. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do it right now. Just like a live, it's just going to be you and me talking together. Probably won't even edit this. So let's talk about the 5 things that you were taught wrong when you bought your embroidery machine. Now all of these things were taught to you incorrectly or wrong or, a little slightly untrue on purpose, right? It's not like that. There's a lot of misinformation in the embroidery world that I think is really strange. And not everybody is very awesome at letting you know that their opinion is an opinion and not fact. I do always want to be really honest with you when I'm talking opinion versus fact. I have a lot of opinions. We all do, right? And we've all mischaracterized them. But listen, that's not what this is about. This is about getting you the correct information, right? You deserve to have the correct information and to learn from people who are going to say, this is opinion, this is fact, here's gray area. Not that there's gray area with opinion and fact. Is there? No. So let's talk about the 5 things that you were taught wrong. Number 1, tearaway is a starter stabilizer. Now, this is really hard because tearaway stabilizer is so wonderful. You still need it. It's still super useful, but it depends on what you want to embroider. Okay. So if somebody sent you home with medium weight tearaway, God forbid they sent you home with a lightweight tearaway, but if they sent you home with a medium weight tearaway, like they did me, like they did, so many other people who are learning to machine embroider, who are just getting their machines, if they sent you home with that without asking what you want to embroider, what the first thing you're going to learn is, what your first project is. If they sent you home with a first project, a first plan, and this was part of it, then obviously that's different. But I've noticed that somehow tearaway got to be like the starter stabilizer, like the default stabilizer, and that's not true. No, that should be Cutaway. Cutaway should be our starter stabilizer, our default stabilizer. That is going to give you the most success on the biggest range of projects with the on the biggest range of designs and fabrics. Okay. Medium weight Cutaway, when all else fails on a regular embroidery project without stretch, a medium weight Cutaway is going to do great for you. Now, if you said, all I want to do is freestanding lace, they should send you home with washaway. Sending you home with Cutaway wouldn't be helpful. Sending you home with tearaway wouldn't be helpful. So personally, I would love to start a crusade where everybody is sent home with a medium weight Cutaway. That would make me happy. Or a medium weight Cutaway if they haven't asked what you want to do. If they've asked you and they specialize it, then perfect. But medium weight Cutaway is going to be best for a beginner. So number 2 is that you have to use thread, blank thread. You have to use rayon thread. You have to use polyester thread. You have to use one specific type of thread. That's what works. That's it. Now there's 2 ways that this gets perpetuated. One is that what they have said to you is, we recommend Isacord polyester thread. And what you heard, because it's an overwhelming moment, right? You just got this machine, there's all this new information. So what you interpreted was, you have to use polyester thread. No. But of course, I have been on the other side of this, where somebody flat out says you have to use polyester thread and you have to use this brand. And lo and behold, that's because it's the brand they sell. Now, the bad apples are few and far between. I will never, you'll never catch me saying that people just want to sell you stuff. They're just trying to get you. Any of that crap is crap. It is overblown. It is people being sensitive about stuff. No. But at the same time, there's always a few bad apples, right? I stood there in a class and had somebody say, you have to do this. I believe it was, you have to use polyester thread. That's what works. That's all you should be using. And here I was standing there with all my Aurifil samples. I had machine embroidered with Aurifil. So I got to stand there. I had to choose, am I going to go against the dealer in this moment? He's clearly a very bold person. They're clearly a bold person. Or am I going to tell him the truth? So it was a mix. I didn't say it in that moment, but later on I said, and here's my cotton embroidery, and here's my this, and here's my that. I didn't go toe to toe with them right there, but I have heard it, and that was a selling tactic. He said you could only use that brand, and I think it was, anyway, doesn't matter what dealer it was. I was trying to get it right in my head, but doesn't matter who it is. Not true, not okay, not good. So it could be a selling tactic. It could be misinformation. They could have been trying to give you an opinion and it got misconstrued as fact. They accidentally offered it as fact. You can use silk, wool, rayon, polyester, cotton. You can use wash-away thread. I've never used monofilament. I wouldn't want to. Monofilament is not my favorite. Not my favorite thing. But you can use all sorts of stuff, and I want you to. I want you to get out there and experiment. If somebody tells you you can't do something, ask them why. Ask them why. And don't worry, it doesn't have to be confrontational. It can just be like, what makes you say that? Have other people had that experience? Oh, that's interesting. Why? Right? So there's different ways that you can say it with your comfort level with that person and the conversation. But that's what pushback on some of these steadfast rules that people have. Because sometimes you will be able to figure out at that point that it's an opinion, or maybe it is just a sales tactic. Okay, so the number three thing that you were taught wrong is there is a right and a wrong way to do stuff. It's just wrong. That's not correct. There are, of course, there are rules that cannot be broken and rules that are made to be broken. I always say, I've said it from my hair school days, know the rules so you can break the rules. You have to know what rules you're breaking so that when things go wrong, you can be like, oh, let's reverse that rule that I was breaking and figure it out from there. So know the rules so you can break the rules. But when people tell you use this stabilizer on this project, that's it. No, it's likely not it. There's likely multiple options. You could, as my dear Lynette says, all roads lead home. Beautiful, beautiful. All roads lead home. So if you're getting quality results and you're doing something so opposite of what I'm doing, how can I argue that? Nobody should. Be wary of people who want you to only do it their way, because we are all different. There are different products for this exact reason. Preference plays a role in this. Like, what do you prefer to use? I would use polymesh on just about everything ever. I love it. And I'd use polymesh or fusible woven on everything I could. And maybe I could get a similar result not using those, but oh well. You choose how you like to do it. You know the rules. Stabilizer school is a great example. Getting people into stabilizer school, I had a few people say, well, I just wanted you to tell me what I should be using for each thing. And I kind of do. I tell you about wash away, I tell you about cutaway, I tell you about tear away, and when they should be used. But there is not one right answer. A rule that you can't break or shouldn't break, because I think I've known people who have broken it by accident and had no problem, is cutaway for stretch fabric. Because when the fabric stretches, the tear away will rip away and it can affect your stitches and the quality of what's the embroidery that's there. show. That's more of a rule. That's a rule. But then there's 8,000 cutaways you can use. So you still have a place where you have to exhibit your own preferences and figure stuff out for yourself. And don't let a dealer, don't let online educator, don't let a YouTube sensation tell you any differently, okay? All roads lead home. There's more than one way to eat a Reese's, all that stuff. Number 4, this is where I got cut off in my live. So I'm going to speak very plainly here because it is, this is where I was gearing up, right? I was like ready to go and then the power went out. And all it did was blink out, but it took all the internet. So I couldn't get back. Okay. Number 4, I want to speak very plainly because I don't want to get caught up in the flowery wording. I don't want to, there's a delicate point to be made here. A delicate point. Multiple things are true in this one wrong thing that you were taught. You need a lot of stuff to get started. Not true. Not true at all. I don't believe that your dealership, that your sewing shop, that your quilt shop selling you things is bad. First off, I want to get that out there. They have supplies that will make your life easier. They have supplies that you may want. There's supplies you want. There's supplies you need. There's supplies you need and want, right? There's supplies you don't need, but you get. There's supplies you don't necessarily want, but that is why your store is there for you. I never want to be like, they're just trying to sell you stuff. Yeah, that's how a store works. I hate that. Plus, there's predatory stores. There's predatory salespeople in every category, of course, but they are the outliers, and that has run amok. But here's what I want to say. So, first truth. I don't believe it's bad. They are trying to sell you stuff. Get over it. Okay? Get over it. That's why you have to have a dealer that you trust. You trust that they aren't selling you snake oil, right? So important. That's why there's some dealers I won't ever go back to. There's some stores, some shops I won't ever go back to because they sell you snake oil. They know they're doing it. Don't go back. But they have these things there for a reason. As your comfortability grows, as your needs change, right? Okay, so just getting that out there because this point can get tricky with that, and this point can get tricky with that. So you don't need a lot of stuff to get started. I have looked into the eyes of somebody at a store who said, well, my dealer told me I had to have all of this or else I couldn't get started. And I can't afford all of this, so I can't get started. No. In that case, it was a miscommunication. They were saying, this is a bundle, you should get it, it's awesome. It was a miscommunication. But there's actually not very much stuff you need to get started with machine embroidery. You need an embroidery machine. You need some good snips. Let me get in this drawer here. These are some Tula Pink snips that I have that are awesome. I have snips on my favorites. Is this them? Oh yeah. It's got that little hook right there. Those are my favorite snips in the world. Bare minimum, you need an embroidery machine. That's my cat, I'm so sorry. You need an embroidery machine, you need some snips. Medium weight cutaway, stabilizer, or slash, the stabilizer that will get your first project done, right? So if you want to do freestanding lace, don't get cutaway, get wash away. Anyway, snips, a machine, stabilizer for your first project. I recommend a medium weight cutaway for generic, all over the place stuff, kind of your everyman. Thread, you can use that thread, top and bobbin, or you can get a bobbin thread, but just thread, easy, needles, and some designs. There will even likely be some free designs in your machine that you can use. But that's all you need to get started. You don't need a drawer full of snips to get started. That's like, it's like a 16th of what's all in there. You don't need 8,000 needles to get started. You don't need a whole thread collection to get started. You can get started with the basics. I want you to have a local store that you trust that will help you grow your collection and make sure you have the right things to make your embroidery journey wonderful. But to get started, don't overcomplicate it. Boil it down if you need to. Sometimes I just have to boil it down to the basics to even get started, and that's okay. Do it. If that's what works for you, then do it. Trust me, I will get you into the master hoopers. I will get you into the bigger embroidery hoops. I can tell you accessories and tools I bought that were worth it and that were garbage. But that's not what we're focusing on today, okay? Boil it down to the basics. You don't need a ton of stuff to get started. I want you to get started more than I want you to get stuff. Okay. And number 5, y'all heard me say it 1,000 times at this point. You've heard me say it in the Facebook group, on the Facebook page, on the Instagram stories, TikTok, here on YouTube. Do not pull on your fabric. Do not pull on your fabric when you hoop it. Don't do it. Don't do it. A lot of people have been taught to do this, and a lot of stores continue to teach people to do this. Don't, okay? I have a video on Instagram and a video coming up here on YouTube about how to hoop your fabric properly, okay? The one on Instagram is a quick video. It just shows my hands, da la la la. The one I do on YouTube is obviously going to be more detailed, me talking you through the process, okay? But don't pull on your fabric to hoop it. Don't give it a little sneaky tug because I'm not around. It doesn't matter if I know. It matters. Your fabric will know, and it will pucker, it will cause issues, and it will never look good. Part of this too is not just pulling on your fabric to hoop, but a lot of stores teach an improper hooping method, right? And we have to look to the OESDs of the world, the embroidery companies of the world, for this information. I'm hoping to shorten, did I say hoping? It's been a long day. It's been a long day. I'm hoping to shorten the time between you getting your machine and you getting information that you can use to make you an incredible, fearless machine embroiderer. Okay, that is where Tough Kitten Crafts exists. That's my role in this world. I want to be your embroidery fairy godmother. So improper hooping technique in general is a problem, but most importantly, pulling on the fabric is a problem. So thank you so much. I'm really excited. I'm sorry that we had to do it this way, but I wanted to get you this information. If you have questions, comments, anything like that, let me know. Let me know. There may be a live component. I don't think there will be at this point. I just don't think there will be. But ask your questions. Next week we can talk about these as well. I think that's what we'll do. I'll go live a little early next week. I just came up with that plan on the fly. I'll go live a little early next week, and we will have some time to talk about this and then dive into next week's live, which I believe is Embroidery 101. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it is. So thank you so much. Thank you for your patience with me today and tonight. Man, what a day. What a freaking day. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please hit subscribe, hit the notifications bell. Love ya. See you later.